This is Misty Catherine. In this video, I am going to be doing a tier list for Hero Wars Facebook version. This is going to be a Gold League focused tier list, as many of the tier lists out there are not made from a Gold League perspective, and as the leader of a Gold League guild, I know I can create a tier list that's much better reflective of the high-end metagame. Before we get into it, I think it's important to say why we're doing a tier list and why tier lists are necessary. It's important to understand that some heroes in this game are simply better. Some heroes in this game are simply more versatile. Some heroes in this game will help you get wins against a higher percentage of teams. Some heroes might look good on paper, but don't actually work well in practice. If you want to play this game competitively at the highest levels, you have to know which heroes are actually worth investing in. In this game, maxing out a single hero can cost about 1.5 million emeralds or equivalent resources, so a good tier list can help you avoid making a costly mistake. Important note, tier lists are only helpful if the list creator actually understands the high-end metagame. On this list, there are 7 tiers. The tiers range from S+ to F. S+ tier are the overpowered must-have heroes. S tier are the best heroes in the game outside of S+ tier. These heroes are the core of many teams. A tier heroes are very good heroes that are worth investing in. B tier heroes are playable, but aren't as strong and reliable as the heroes on upper tiers, but they do remain a major part of the high-end metagame. C tier heroes are narrow heroes that are good in certain teams. Only invest in these heroes if they work for your specific team. D tier heroes are inferior to other options, and F tier heroes are the worst heroes in the game. So I'm going to do this video tier by tier. At the top, we have S+ tier. There are just 3 heroes on this tier, and I often call them the Holy Trinity, as they are the best 3 heroes in the game. The first hero on this tier is Sebastian. Sebastian is the best hero in Hero Wars. His Ode to Serenity ability is the best ability in the game, as it blocks status effects on your team. The second best hero in the game is Celeste. Celeste can block healing on the enemy team with her Cursed Flame ability. She also has Purifying Sphere, which blocks status effects on a single target. She also provides strong single target healing and strong frontal DPS. Last hero on this tier is Aurora. Aurora is the best tank in Hero Wars. Her Rainbow Halo ability gives her the best magic mitigation of any hero in the game. She is also the only tank in the game who can dodge, allowing her to use Kayn as a patron. This gives her good energy generation, allowing her to do lots of AE damage and buff dodge for the entire team. The next tier is S tier. There are 7 heroes on S tier. The first 2 heroes are Lars and Krista. Lars and Krista are designed to be played together. People often call them the twins. Their abilities are very synergistic, and they also have complementing artifacts. Together, they form one of the most efficient DPS combos in the game. Next up, we have Ju, who is the best physical attacker in the game, and can be very hard to kill when paired with Sebastian. Another strong physical attacker on this tier is Kark. He targets enemies with the lowest health. This makes him very effective at killing enemy backline and midline heroes. He can also be paired with other heroes like Kai or Faceless, who can trigger his passive for extra damage. We also have Orion on this tier. Orion does a lot of good magic DPS, but he is also the best magic penetration buffer in the game. His passive gives him lots of extra energy. This lets him use his ultimate ability frequently, keeping up the magic penetration buff. Next up is Helios. Helios is a very strong counter to critical hit heroes like Yasmin, Ishmael, and Ju. He can also provide strong magic DPS when paired with a hero like Orion, who can buff his magic penetration. Last hero on this tier is Anvari. Anvari is a support hero who can also be effective as a tank. His passive ability prevents himself and one ally from displacement and knock-up effects. This makes him particularly strong against heroes like Faceless, Maya, Fox, as well as good against heroes like Lars and Kai. Moving on to A tier, we have Luther and Cleaver, who are the second and third best tanks in the game, and like Aurora, are effective at countering Martha. Luther's ultimate causes him to jump to the back line, which can disrupt some teams and strategies, and Cleaver can pull the backmost hero to the front with his hook, making it easier to deal with backline heroes. Next on this tier is Thea. Thea is one of the best healers in the game. Her passive ability provides heroes on your team with extra speed when they are in critical health, and it even works if she is dead. She can also buff magic defense and cast AE Silence, making her the best anti-mage healer in the game. Maya is another healer who can buff magic defense. While her healing isn't as strong as Thea's, she does have some great DPS in the form of pure damage. Also on this tier is Martha. Martha is a very strong healer who can be really hard for some teams to deal with. She is, however, really slow to get going and offers little utility outside of her healing and can be easily countered. However, she still remains a strong pick against a number of teams. The last hero on this tier is Kira. Kira is another strong physical attacker. Her basic attack hits the entire enemy team. This makes her very dangerous. However, she can die really easily. The first hero on B tier is Astaroth. He is a decent tank, but has the lowest health of any tank in the game. He also doesn't mitigate damage that well in a high-end metagame. However, his abilities do allow him to be a decent tank against some teams, and he can also be used as an off-tank. The next two heroes on this tier are Faceless and Kai. These heroes are often paired with Kark. Faceless can passively buff magic defense for the whole team, as well as magic penetration with his artifact, and Kai is a solid magic DPS who has good self-healing. Next is Dante, who is very strong since his rework, since he functions mostly as a support who can buff dodge while doing just decent physical damage. Yasmin is a newer hero to the game. She mostly does pure damage, but depends on critical hits. Not a bad hero, but is easily countered by Aurora, Celeste, and Helios. The last two heroes on this tier are Dorian and Marcus. These heroes are both decent healers and can be very effective in some teams, though they are more narrow than some of the other options at higher tiers. The first hero on C tier is Nebula. She is actually really strong in the right team, but she is very position dependent, making her a bad fit in many lines. She is also limited to just Kayn for patronage, which sometimes forces her to go without a pet. Peppy, he is a hero who buffs magic defense, but is mostly limited to teams running Cleaver as their main tank. Jorgen, he used to be the best hero in the game. However, the release of Sebastian has forced him into a much more limited role. He is still good against teams that don't run Sebastian, but such teams are increasingly rare. Mojo can buff magic penetration and add healing. This makes him good for magic teams. Then we have all of the armor penetration heroes: Morgan, Fox, Keen Mao, and Elmir. Morgan is probably the best of these heroes, though they're all pretty close in power and play a similar role. These heroes are mostly used in teams that can benefit from the armor penetration buffs. The last three heroes on this tier are Ishmael, Daredevil, and Ginger. These are critical hit heroes who work well with Sebastian, but none of these heroes are as good as Jew. On D tier, we have Galahad, Corvus, Chaba, and Rufus. These are all tank heroes. They are okay, but they are inferior to other tank options available in the higher tiers. We also have Cornelius. He buffs magic defense, and that's about all he provides to a team. His ultimate ability gets blocked by Krista in Twin Steams, but also with the release of Axel preventing instant kills, this ability is now mostly useless in PvP, making him a very narrow counter. Satori, Arachne, and Leanne, these are all fun heroes, but they depend on landing status effects to be effective and are all casualties of a Sebastian-dominated metagame. Heidi, he is a hero who does good pure damage. He has potential, but his main issue is that he dies too easily. If he gets a health scan or something in the future, he could end up being a very good hero, but he isn't quite there right now. Phobos, even with the recent rework, he still isn't good enough to really make most teams. The last hero on this tier is Jet. Jet's passive ability doesn't buff critical hit enough to be worth it. Most teams are better off simply running Ju in addition to Sebastian to buff critical hit via artifact buffs. Down at the bottom, we have F tier. These heroes are Ziri, Lilith, Judge, Astrid, Darkstar, and Artemis. Not a lot to say about these heroes. Ziri has the best armor and health in the game, but she also has the Sheltering Sands ability, which is the worst ability in the game. Lilith has poor health and is too far back in the lineup to be an effective tank. Judge doesn't do anything relevant. The marksman heroes Astrid, Darkstar, and Artemis. I like the design of Astrid. I like Darkstar. But these heroes, there is no real reason to use them over any other physical attacker right now. Alright, so that's the full list. Pretty much everyone should be investing in Sebastian, Celeste, and Aurora. Like I said, those are the best 3 heroes in the game. That's a support, a healer, and a tank who can make up the backbone of your team. Then you just have to add some DPS heroes and you have a full team. You can use Lars and Krista, you can use Orion and Helios, you can use Ju with Kark or Anvari or even Kira. Sometimes you'll want a different healer like Thea or Maya over Celeste, or as a second healer over Sebastian. Sometimes you might want a different tank than Aurora, such as Cleaver or Loser. For the most part though, everything you need is right there in the top 3 tiers. There is not a lot of reason to invest in any of the heroes below A tier. Considering the high costs of maxing out a single hero in this game, I strongly recommend only focusing on A tier and higher heroes. Sometimes you might want to be your C tier heroes, such as Kai, to go along with Kark, but for the most part, those heroes are not needed. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Stay tuned to this channel for more Hero Wars and other video game related content.